Hello again. The thumbnail to this video shows the cast of the Royal Shakespeare Company's latest version of As You Like It. There are no white actors. This is, to say the least of it, a little odd in a country where the great majority of people are white and they are producing plays by an Elizabethan playwright. I've been trying to find out what made them decide to do such a thing, but I'm not sure that they know themselves. I've been reading a few interviews with various people from the RSC, but it's not at all, I cannot make any headway in finding out just why they came up with this scheme. The artistic director of the Royal Shakespeare Company, Erica Wyman, says that the idea that Shakespeare's plays belong to one group and not to another is nonsense, which is, to say the least of it, debatable. One could argue that these plays are rooted in Tudor England and that they are more easily understood and appreciated in the context of that period, and also that there is something quintessentially English about them. Many of us are aware that Shakespeare's birthday is celebrated by happy coincidence on April the 23rd, which is of course St George's Day. The artistic director, though, still doesn't seem able to explain why she chose to make the play an entirely black one, rather than to have a cast which was entirely made up of actors of Indian or Pakistani heritage, say. What was special about black people for her? She said the RSC had questioned, have we often enough made sure that black artists can lead the work? But again, we are left asking ourselves, firstly, why any ethnic minority should lead the work, and secondly, why, if that decision has been made, it should be black people rather than Asians, Arabs or Jews. Then we have this. It's a responsibility for a cultural organisation like mine to make sure we're not just representing black culture on our stage, but actually trying to properly understand what has been missing from our cultural world. Why is it a responsibility for cultural organisations to represent black culture rather than any other sort of culture? Why do they have a responsibility to represent black culture rather than Chinese culture or indigenous Australian culture? We are not told, and it is taken as a given. It's treated as being perfectly obvious why black culture is in a special position here. I'm fascinated that nobody at the Royal Shakespeare Company seems able to explain why they wanted to have a play acted entirely by black people. I doubt if they know themselves, quite honestly. I don't for a moment suppose they've ever asked themselves what is special about black people any more than those from East Asia or the Indian subcontinent. For them, diversity means making sure that there are loads of black people on the stage. They have not asked themselves, firstly, why diversity should in itself be considered a good thing, and secondly, if it's decided that this is so, why it should only mean more black people. This is very much the spirit of the age, of course, and we can't really blame the Royal Shakespeare Company for getting caught up in this madness. It seems that George Floyd was partly to blame in this particular case, although what he had to do with Shakespeare isn't altogether clear to me. Erica Wyman said, in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, the company felt it incredibly important to look at ourselves and ask why there is so much racism in the world. I give a link in the description to this video to the interview with the BBC in which all this was said.